Hello everyone. Happy International Women's Day. I am Niyati.
And I am an official lens creator.
I would highly recommend you to read the guides because they are excellently written for a beginner to start, and even the forum is very engaging. And if you get stuck, that is one place you can get your answers, as well as you can just surf anything you want, from deconstructing to making your own lens script. That kind of growth is what you get when you be a part of this journey.
For the demo video, I made this lens explaining the collision system. So let's start decoding a game. Mostly when you decode a game, there is one thing that collides with another thing, and then there's two paths. There may be a score up or game over. So in Phoenix, you must have seen that when the asteroid and the ship collided, it was game over, and when the shield and the asteroid collided, it was close to you. And also in like a gunfight game or anything, so when the bullet collides with the opponent, you get a point and the opponent dies. Today, I want to explain this system to you. So let me restart the lens. When I restart it, there's a watermelon and there's a knife flying, and when the knife and the watermelon collides, it splits the watermelon in two parts. This is just a small collision thing happening, and then there's an outcome. This was inspired by Fruit Ninja, if anyone's played that. So I just had the thought that why not make it. So let me decode everything for you. You have two things, camera and lighting. So let me just hide everything. So this is what a lens, like when you open Lens Studio, that's how it looks like. One thing, first make it a video. Make sure that it is pointing to backside of the camera. In the camera, add this. It will track wherever the device is going, and the tracking mode is surface. It will track every surface that you are pointing to. Add one scene object. So you can go to add new object, click scene object. And then I have these 3D models already prepared. So I'll drag this in the object, and that's how this appears. And then I can just scale it and play with it, rotate it. I've just done some rotation and scaled it to like just it can look good on a surface. I'll just turn off this, and this is your outcome. So I have made one scene object with two things. Firstly, the input that I gave, and secondly, the output scene object. This is prefabs, but you can also use scene object directly and just have the mesh added to it. Now let's choose the opponent. So what will it be collided with? So I took a scene object, added the knife prefab to it, and here is it. It's there. So for now we'll just look at these. So now I can scale it and just play with it, play with the values if you want to. Now I have two scene objects, where one is watermelon and the second is the kitchen knife. Then the most important thing for collision system to work is so you need a collision system, and you can get it from the high score template. So you can just export it from there. It has a collision object and there's collision manager. First thing that you need to know is the collision manager should be at the top of the scene to work. Then I just use the tween manager to move the sword from one place to another. So this is the script. I just added tween using helper scripts. You can just write helper and just there are four scripts and you can use that. So I just did that. Then I had tween, and then you can just go to tween and this tween transform. Just you get a tween manager whenever you add tween script. So this also should be at the top for it to manage everything at the bottom. So I just added tween transform where I transform the SWOT from -120 to 100. It's just the values you can play with, and that is how the sword is moving. Now let me just go to the main part, that is how the collision works. So let's just add two things. So this is what is colliding. You cannot collide one prefab to another prefab. The structure of of the lens and the things are not made to collide with any mesh or any points. You do need some points to for two things to collide. So what you can do is you have two options. Honestly, you have four options, but two options are very easy to use. So there are two options provided. The one is unit cube and the second is unit sphere. So what you have to do is they are totally different in the meshes. So what you need is uniformity. So what I can do for that is I can wrap the watermelon with a unit box, and for the sword I can also do the same. So I wrapped it up with a knife collider. Now when the uh, when the knife collider and the melon collider collides, I want to show just this. So how can I do that? I can do it now because of the uniformity that there are two cube that are colliding. There are two sphere which are colliding. So that uniformity is important. So what I can do now is do some scripting. So for that customization, firstly, what is my collision object? I had a collision object script given to me. So I go to the collider that I made, the meshes unit cube for me. I drag the collision object to this, and the unit box mesh that I used, I refer it to that and then I hide it because I don't want it show to show this in this on the screen. And then I give it a value melon, and then same for the knife collider. I do the same thing. I give it a collision tag that is enemy. Now I have done the main thing. One I have an object, and on top of that I have a collider. So when they both collide, just have to show watermelon piece. Basically, what you are doing is colliding them using this collision tags. So let's just see how. So I made a custom script here named melon sword. I'll open it, and right now it's error because I've turned off the tool. But let's just do one thing. I took one watermelon half as an input. This is my watermelon half, and another input as watermelon piece. Then I have a scene object, another, and that is the knife. So I want four things, and then I want a collider script. So I am doing this on watermelon. So I want the melon collider object script that I added for it to recognize any event that is happening. So var collider equal to script collider script. So this collider script, if I go to watermelon and just see whose collider script I'm using to track it, and to call an event function, I'm using the Melon Collider script. So now Collider has all the API of Melon Collider script. Now I can just add one event, that collider dot add on enter callback. So in JavaScript, as this is a JavaScript code, so in JavaScript we use callback functions. So this is when the sports collider does the watermelon collider, a nice collider, tags should be enemy, and when it collides, this function should call. The function is I destroy the half object, I enable the pieces, and I disable the knife because now the knife's works is over. So this is not as complicated as you might think it is in the starting, but you'll get used to it with time. So this is just this much code to make that collision happen.
I feel so great to be a part of this cause. Thank you, Snapchat, for this opportunity.